Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. It's Friday evening, and I'm sitting in my favorite chair by the window, nursing a glass of whiskey. The golden light of the setting sun spills across the room, catching on the edge of the glass and making the amber liquid glow. My phone buzzes on the side table, a sharp interruption to the mellow ambience. I pick it up to see a message from Antonio's, the cozy little Italian restaurant that Sarah and I have called our favorite for years. Join us tonight for a special evening with live music, the message reads. A performance of classic love songs that will transport you back in time. Reserve your table now. My heart does a little flip. I can almost hear the old tunes playing in my head, songs that Sarah and I used to slow dance to in our living room when we were first married. Those were the days of laughter and simplicity, days when the mere sound of her voice could brighten my darkest moods. I dial the restaurant without a second thought. Antonio's, a cheerful voice answers on the third ring. It's Maria, the owner's wife. Her Italian accent is as thick as the pasta sauce they serve. Hi, Maria, it's Ben, I say, forcing a smile into my voice. Ah, Ben. So good to hear from you. It's been too long. What can I do for you? I got your message about the live music tonight. Can you reserve a table for me? Just one. Only one. You are not bringing Sarah? I hesitate. Lately, things between Sarah and me have been tense. Busy schedules, late nights at work, a growing distance that I can't quite put my finger on. But maybe tonight, a night of music and memories, will help bridge that gap. Well, I say slowly, actually, make it two. I'd like to surprise her. Perfect. 8 o'clock, yes. Yes, that sounds great. I hang up and stare at my phone, a feeling of excitement mixed with nervousness coursing through me. I haven't done something like this in a long time, a spontaneous romantic gesture. I check my watch. It's already 7. I finish my drink, take a quick shower, and throw on a crisp shirt and my best pair of jeans. I slip my phone into my pocket and head out the door. The evening air is warm, and there's a slight breeze that carries the scent of flowers from the garden outside our building. I drive to Antonio's, my thoughts drifting to the songs that will be played. The old favorites, Unchained Melody, Can't Help Falling in Love, Endless Love. I can see Sarah's face in my mind, smiling and swaying to the music. I park in the lot behind the restaurant and walk in through the back door, nodding at the staff I've known for years. Antonio himself is at the bar, polishing glasses. His eyes light up when he sees me. Ben. My friend, he says, clapping a hand on my shoulder. Good to see you. Maria told me you were coming. Sarah will be so happy. I hope so, I say, smiling. Thanks for the invite. Of course, of course. Go on in, the singer is starting soon. I make my way to the main dining room. It's dimly lit, with candles flickering on each table, casting soft shadows. The air is filled with the rich aroma of tomato sauce and freshly baked bread. I find my table near the small stage where a microphone stands waiting. I sit down, glancing around the room. Most of the tables are occupied by couples, leaning in close, speaking in hushed tones. I pull out my phone to call Sarah. As I do, the singer walks onto the stage, a young woman with a guitar slung over her shoulder. She adjusts the microphone and strums a chord. The first notes of Unchained Melody fill the air, and a hush falls over the room. I press Sarah's number, anticipation tightening in my chest. The phone rings once, twice, 3 times. Then, from somewhere behind me, I hear a familiar ringtone. My heart skips a beat. I turn around, my eyes scanning the tables, and there she is. Sarah. But she's not alone. She's sitting at a corner table, her back to me, her head tilted toward a man I don't recognize. He's leaning in close, whispering something that makes her laugh. I watch as she reaches out, placing her hand on his arm. He covers her hand with his own. They're holding hands. They're smiling. The phone continues to ring in my ear. I see Sarah glance at her phone on the table in front of her. She looks at the screen, sees my name, and hits the button to silence the call. My call. She drops the phone back on the table, turns back to the man, and kisses him. Softly. Tenderly. To the music of our song. I feel like I've been punched in the gut. The air leaves my lungs in a rush. The room tilts slightly, and I grip the edge of the table to steady myself. My phone slips from my hand, clattering onto the floor. Heads turn, but I don't care. I can't take my eyes off them. Off Sarah. The music continues to play, the singer's voice smooth and haunting. The melody that once brought joy is now a cruel knife twisting in my heart. I watch as Sarah and the man sway to the rhythm, lost in their own world. Our world. My world. Rage boils inside me, mingling with pain. I want to storm over there, demand an explanation, shout, scream. But I can't move. I'm rooted to the spot, paralyzed by disbelief. I've been living in a lie. My wife, my Sarah, the woman I've shared my life with for 15 years, is here, in our restaurant, with another man. The song ends, and the room erupts in applause. Sarah pulls back from the man, and they clap along with everyone else. She looks so happy, so carefree. My hands shake as I bend down to pick up my phone. I stand up, knocking my chair over in the process. The clatter is loud, and heads turn again, including Sarah's. Our eyes meet across the room. For a moment, time stops. Her smile falters. The color drains from her face. She knows. She knows I've seen everything. I turn on my heel and walk out, my mind a storm of emotions. Betrayal, anger, heartbreak. As I step into the cool night air, I make a decision. This isn't over. I'm not going to let her get away with this. She has no idea what she started. I pull out my phone again, my hand steady now. I know exactly what I need to do. As I dial a number, I glance back at the restaurant. Through the window, I see Sarah, her face still pale, the man reaching out to touch her arm, to comfort her. I turn away and press the call button. It's time to end this charade. Time to reclaim my life. And it starts now. The moment I step outside, the cool night air hits me like a slap to the face. I need to calm down, but I can't. My heart is pounding so hard it feels like it's trying to escape my chest. I lean against the brick wall of the restaurant, my fingers fumbling with my phone. The name on the screen makes me hesitate. I almost press call, but stop. Maybe this isn't the right move. Maybe I should go back inside, talk to Sarah directly, and demand an explanation. Maybe. No. I shake my head, trying to clear my thoughts. I can't think straight right now. I need backup. I need to talk to someone who knows me, knows Sarah. Someone who will understand. I scroll through my contacts and hit the call button. Ben, comes the groggy voice on the other end of the line. It's Greg, my best friend since college. He's also a lawyer, someone who has seen it all and knows how to stay calm in a crisis. What's going on, man? It's late. I need you, Greg, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. It's Sarah. I just saw her at Antonio's. She's here, Greg. With another man. Holding hands, kissing. To our songs. There's a moment of silence on the other end, then a sharp intake of breath. Jesus, Ben. Are you sure? I saw it with my own eyes, I reply, feeling the anger rising again. They're still in there. I don't know what to do. I can't just leave. I can't just go in there either. What the hell am I supposed to do? Stay there, Greg says firmly. Don't do anything stupid. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Just stay put, okay? Okay, I mutter, ending the call. I slide my phone back into my pocket and start pacing up and down the sidewalk. People walk by, giving me curious looks, but I ignore them. My mind is racing. I can't believe this is happening. Sarah and we've had our ups and downs, but I never thought she would do something like this. Never. About 10 minutes later, I see Greg's car pull up. He gets out, his face set in a serious expression. He's still in his work clothes, a suit and tie, looking completely out of place in this neighborhood of casual diners and late-night revelers. He walks over to me, and I can see the concern in his eyes. "Where is she?" he asks. I nod toward the restaurant. "In there. Corner table, near the back. With some guy I've never seen before." Greg looks at the entrance, then back at me. "All right, listen. You need to stay calm. You can't just barge in there and cause a scene. It won't help anything. Do you know who this guy is?" I shake my head. "No idea. Never seen him before." But she looked comfortable with him. Like this isn't the first time they've been together. Greg swears under his breath. "Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I'll go in first, take a look, and get a sense of what's going on. You stay out here. If I need you, I'll text you. All right?" I want to argue, to tell him that I should be the one to confront her, but I know he's right. I nod. "Fine. Just, be careful. She doesn't know you're coming." Greg pats my shoulder. "Don't worry, Ben. I've got this." He turns and walks toward the entrance, disappearing inside. I stand there, feeling helpless and angry. Minutes stretch out like hours. My mind is a whirlwind of images: Sarah's smile, her laughter, the way she used to look at me. I can't believe this is the same woman, sitting in there with someone else, laughing and kissing to the songs that used to be ours. My phone buzzes. It's a text from Greg, "Come in." Quietly. I push open the door and step inside. The restaurant is warm and cozy, just as it always is. The smell of garlic and fresh bread fills the air. The singer is now playing "Can't Help Falling in Love." My stomach twists. I spot Greg near the bar. He catches my eye and nods toward the back of the room. I see them. Sarah and the man. They're still holding hands, but now they're talking quietly, their heads close together. I feel a surge of rage and start toward them, but Greg steps in front of me, blocking my path. "Wait," he whispers, grabbing my arm. "You can't just go over there. You need to be smart about this." "Smart?" I hiss back, trying to keep my voice low. How the hell am I supposed to be smart when my wife is right there, cheating on me? Greg tightens his grip on my arm. "Think, Ben. You want to confront her, fine. But do it when she's alone. If you go over there now, with him sitting right there, it'll turn into a public spectacle. You'll be the bad guy, not her. Trust me on this." I take a deep breath, trying to regain control. He's right. Causing a scene here won't solve anything. I nod, and Greg lets go of my arm. "Okay. What do we do?" Greg glances over at the table, then back at me. "We wait. Sooner or later, they'll leave. We follow them, see where they go. Then we confront her. But we do it on our terms, not hers." I hate the idea of waiting, of letting them have more time together, but I know Greg is right. I nod again, and we take a couple of seats at the bar, our eyes never leaving Sarah's table. I watch as she laughs at something the man says, her head thrown back, her hair catching the candlelight. My heart aches at the sight. Minutes pass, each one feeling like an eternity. I sip a glass of water, my hands trembling. Greg sits next to me, silent but steady, his presence a small comfort. Finally, Sarah and the man get up. They gather their things, still talking, still smiling. They don't even notice me as they walk past, heading toward the door. Greg and I follow them out into the night. They don't seem to be in a hurry, strolling down the sidewalk like they haven't a care in the world. We keep our distance, staying in the shadows. I feel like a character in some noir film, tailing my cheating wife through the darkened streets. They stop at a car parked at the end of the block. A sleek, black sedan. The man opens the passenger door for Sarah, then goes around to the driver's side. I take a step forward, ready to confront them, but Greg holds me back. "Not yet," he says quietly. "Let's see where they go." The car pulls away from the curb, and we follow. They drive for about 10 minutes, heading out of the city center and into the suburbs. Finally, they turn into a driveway of a house I don't recognize. The lights inside are off, and the place looks empty. They get out of the car, and the man takes Sarah's hand, leading her to the door. "That's it," I say, my voice tight. "I'm going over there." Greg nods. "I'll be right behind you." We approach the house quietly, the sound of our footsteps muffled by the grass. I feel my heart racing, every nerve in my body on edge. I see Sarah and the man standing at the door, his hand on her waist, pulling her close. They kiss, and something inside me snaps. "Sarah!" I shout, my voice echoing in the still night air. They break apart, turning to look at me. Sarah's eyes widen in shock, her face paling. The man steps in front of her, as if to protect her from me. "Ben," Sarah says, her voice trembling. "What are you doing here?" "I could ask you the same thing," I reply, my voice cold. "What the hell is going on, Sarah? Who is this?" The man raises his hands, trying to look non-threatening. "Hey, take it easy, man. This isn't what it looks like." I laugh, a harsh sound. "Isn't it? Because it looks like my wife is cheating on me. Is that not what's happening here?" Sarah steps forward, her eyes pleading. "Ben, please. Let me explain." I shake my head. "Explain? You want to explain?" "There's nothing to explain, Sarah. I saw you. I saw you with him. In our restaurant, listening to our songs. How long has this been going on?" She hesitates, and that hesitation tells me everything I need to know. My anger flares, and I step toward them. Greg grabs my arm again, holding me back. "Ben, don't," he says quietly. "Not like this." I look at Sarah, her eyes filled with guilt and fear. And I know. I know that whatever we had is gone, shattered like glass. I pull away from Greg's grip, my voice breaking. "It's over, Sarah. We're over. I'm done." I turn and walk away, leaving her standing there in the dark. Greg falls into step beside me, silent. I don't look back. I can't. The music, the betrayal, the pain, all of it is too much. As we reach Greg's car, I know that tonight is just the beginning. I spend the night at Greg's apartment, lying on his couch, staring at the ceiling. Sleep is impossible. My mind is a mess of anger, betrayal, and confusion. Every time I close my eyes, I see Sarah with that man, holding hands, kissing, smiling. I feel like I'm coming apart at the seams. How could she do this to me? To us? Greg walks into the living room early the next morning, holding 2 mugs of coffee. He hands one to me, then sits down in the armchair across from the couch. He's already dressed in a suit, his tie knotted perfectly. I can tell he's trying to stay professional, to keep his emotions in check, but there's a look in his eyes that says he's as pissed as I am. "Any sleep?" he asks, taking a sip from his mug. I shake my head. No. I just kept thinking about last night. About Sarah. I still can't believe it's real. Greg nods, setting his coffee down on the table. I know, Ben. I know. But we need to figure out what we're going to do next. This can't just hang over you like a cloud. You need a plan. A plan? I say bitterly. I don't even know where to start. Divorce her, obviously, but, beyond that, what? How do I even face her again? Greg leans forward, his elbows resting on his knees. I can help with the legal side of things. Get you a good divorce lawyer, make sure everything's handled properly. But before we get there, you need to talk to Sarah. Find out what's really going on. You deserve answers. I take a long sip of coffee, letting the bitterness wash over my tongue. And what if I don't want answers? What if I just want to forget this ever happened? Greg's eyes are sympathetic but firm. You can't run from this, Ben. Trust me. If you don't get closure, it'll haunt you. And if there's anything you need to know, anything that could impact the divorce or your future, now's the time to find out. I hate that he's right. I know I need to face Sarah, to hear whatever excuses or lies she has prepared. Maybe it'll help me understand, or at least help me move on. I nod slowly. Okay. I'll talk to her. Greg reaches for his phone. Good. I'll set up a meeting with her. Neutral ground, somewhere public. How about the park near your old place? Less chance of a scene. Fine, I say, not really caring where it happens. I just want to get it over with. Greg makes the call, speaking in low tones while I finish my coffee. He hangs up after a few minutes, looking at me. She'll be there at noon. You ready? I shrug. Ready as I'll ever be. The park is quiet when I arrive, the usual morning joggers and dog walkers already gone. It's a bright, sunny day, completely at odds with the storm brewing inside me. I sit on a bench near the lake, watching the ripples on the water, my mind still struggling to grasp the reality of what's happening. This is the place where Sarah and I used to come on weekends, back when things were good. We'd sit here for hours, talking, laughing, dreaming about the future. Now it's just a painful reminder of what I've lost. I hear footsteps on the gravel path behind me and turn to see Sarah approaching. She's wearing jeans and a light blue blouse, her hair tied back in a ponytail. She looks nervous, her eyes darting around as if expecting me to jump out at her. When she sees me, she hesitates, then walks over, sitting down on the far end of the bench. Ben, she says softly, her voice breaking the silence. I don't look at her. I keep my eyes on the lake. Sarah. She takes a deep breath, then starts speaking in a rush. I'm sorry, Ben. I never wanted to hurt you. I know what I did was wrong, and I don't expect you to forgive me, but I need you to know that it wasn't about you. It was never about you. My jaw tightens. I turn to face her, anger bubbling up inside me. Then what the hell was it about, Sarah? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you decided to throw away 15 years of marriage for some random guy. For what? Excitement? A thrill? Tears well up in her eyes, but I don't feel any sympathy. She chose this. She brought this on herself. It wasn't like that, she says, her voice trembling. I didn't plan for any of this to happen. I met David a few months ago at a work event. We started talking, and I don't know, Ben. It just happened. He made me feel alive, in a way I haven't felt in years. I laugh, a harsh, bitter sound. Alive? So I wasn't enough for you. Our life together wasn't enough. It's not that, she says quickly, wiping at her eyes. It's just, things haven't been good between us for a long time. You know that. We stopped talking, stopped spending time together. It felt like we were just going through the motions, like we were living separate lives under the same roof. I want to argue, to deny it, but I know there's some truth in her words. We have grown distant, but I never thought it would lead to this. So your solution was to have an affair? To find someone else behind my back? Why didn't you come to me, tell me how you were feeling? We could have worked on it, Sarah. We could have fixed things. She shakes her head, a fresh wave of tears spilling down her cheeks. I tried, Ben. I really did. But every time I brought it up, you'd brush me off, say you were too busy with work, or that we'd talk later. But later never came. I felt so alone, and then David was there, listening, caring. I didn't mean for it to go this far, but I didn't know how to stop. I clench my fists, trying to control the rage simmering inside me. Well, you've sure stopped now. It's over, Sarah. We're over. I want a divorce. Sarah's face crumples, and she looks down at her hands. I know. I understand. I've already moved some things out to a friend's place. I won't fight you on the divorce. I just want you to know that I never stopped loving you, Ben. I'm sorry for everything. I stand up, unable to sit there any longer. Sorry doesn't change anything. It's too late for that. I turn and start walking away, my footsteps echoing on the gravel path. Ben, wait, she calls after me. I stop but don't turn around. What about Sophie? How do we tell her? I close my eyes, the mention of our daughter's name a fresh stab of pain. Sophie is away at college, blissfully unaware of the storm about to hit her life. I haven't even begun to think about how to tell her. I'll tell her, I say finally. She deserves to hear it from me. There's a long silence, then Sarah's voice, small and broken. I'm so sorry, Ben. For everything. I walk away, not looking back. The anger, the pain, the betrayal, it's all too much. I need to get out of here, to put as much distance between myself and Sarah as possible. I make my way to my car, each step feeling like a weight is being lifted off my chest. I know this isn't the end of the pain, that there will be long, dark days ahead, but at least now there's a path forward. I start the car and drive, not sure where I'm going, just needing to move. I pass the familiar streets of our neighborhood, memories flashing by like scenes from a movie. I think about Sophie, how I'll break the news to her. I think about my friends, my family, the people who will inevitably take sides. I think about David, the man who has taken my place in Sarah's heart. A new wave of anger surges through me, and I grip the steering wheel tightly. I drive for hours, the city giving way to countryside, then to the coast. I find myself at a beach, the sun high in the sky, the sound of waves crashing against the shore. I park the car and get out, walking down to the water's edge. The ocean is vast and endless, stretching out before me. I stand there, letting the sound of the waves wash over me, trying to clear my mind. My phone buzzes in my pocket, but I ignore it. I know it's Greg, or maybe Sarah, or one of our friends who's heard the news. I don't want to talk to anyone right now. I just want to stand here, alone, with nothing but the sound of the ocean and the wind. As I stand there, I realize something. I've been living for Sarah, for our marriage, for a future that no longer exists. But now, for the first time in years, I'm free. Free to make my own choices, to live my own life. It's a terrifying thought, but also exhilarating. I don't know what comes next. But as I watch the waves crash against the shore, I know one thing for certain, I won't let this break me. I won't let Sarah's betrayal define who I am. I'm going to rebuild my life, piece by piece, starting right here, right now. A few weeks pass in a blur. Greg helps me find a good divorce lawyer, and we start the legal proceedings. I move into a small apartment across town, far from the life Sarah and I built together. It's sparse and empty, just the basics: bed, couch, a few dishes. It's not much, but it's mine. I spend my days at work, burying myself in projects to keep my mind off things. At night, I sit on my tiny balcony, drinking beer and watching the city lights flicker in the distance. I've managed to avoid Sarah since our meeting in the park. I haven't taken her calls or responded to her messages. I haven't told Sophie yet, either. She's busy with college, and I can't bring myself to shatter her world over the phone. I keep telling myself I'll do it soon, but the days keep slipping away. One evening, as I'm nursing a beer on the balcony, my phone buzzes with a text from Greg. "We need to talk. Can you meet me at Antonio's?" I hesitate, not wanting to revisit the scene of my betrayal, but Greg has been there for me through all of this. If he wants to talk, it must be important. I text back a quick reply and head out, the streets quiet as the sun sets behind the city skyline. Antonio's is as warm and welcoming as ever, the familiar smells of garlic and tomato sauce filling the air. I push open the door, spotting Greg at a corner table. He's not alone. There's a woman sitting with him, her back to me. She turns as I approach, and I freeze, my stomach dropping. It's Sarah. What's she doing here? I snap, looking at Greg, my voice low and angry. Greg stands up, motioning for me to sit. "Just listen, Ben. Please. Sarah has something to tell you." I glare at him, then at Sarah. She looks tired, her face pale, her eyes red like she's been crying. Part of me wants to walk out, but another part of me, the part that's been simmering with questions and anger, wants to hear what she has to say. "Fine," I mutter, sitting down across from her. "Make it quick." Sarah takes a deep breath, her hands trembling as she places them on the table. "Ben, there's something you need to know. About David." I feel the anger flare again at the mention of his name. "What about him?" "You're in love with him. You've been cheating on me with him for months. What else is there to know?" She shakes her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. "No, Ben. It's not like that. I never loved David. I never wanted to be with him. It was all a setup." I frown, confusion mingling with my anger. "A setup? What the hell are you talking about?" Greg leans forward, his voice calm but firm. "Sarah's telling the truth, Ben. David approached her months ago, pretending to be interested, pretending to care. He manipulated her, made her believe he was falling for her. But it was all a lie." I stare at Greg, then at Sarah, trying to make sense of their words. "Why? Why would anyone do that?" Sarah takes a shaky breath. "Because of you, Ben. Because of your work." "What?" I blink, feeling like I've stepped into some bizarre alternate reality. "What does my work have to do with this?" Greg looks at me, his expression serious. "David isn't just some random guy, Ben. He works for a competitor, one of your biggest rivals. He targeted Sarah to get to you. To distract you, to make you vulnerable. He wanted to drive a wedge between you two, to destroy your marriage and use your distraction to gain an advantage in business." The room seems to tilt, my mind reeling. I shake my head. No. No, that doesn't make any sense. Why would he go to such lengths? Why not just come after me directly? Sarah reaches across the table, her hand hovering near mine. "Because he knew that hurting me was the only way to hurt you. He studied us, Ben. He knew how much you loved me, how much our marriage meant to you. He knew that if he could get between us, he could break you." I pull my hand away, standing up abruptly. "This is insane. You're saying David manipulated you, used you, just to get to me? And you fell for it? You let him destroy us?" Sarah's tears flow freely now, her voice cracking. "I didn't know, Ben. I swear, I didn't know. I thought he cared about me. I don't know what I thought. But when you caught us at the restaurant, he admitted everything. He told me it was all a game, that he never cared. He laughed, Ben. He laughed at how easily I fell for it. My heart is pounding in my chest, a mix of rage and betrayal like I've never felt before. I turned to Greg. And you knew about this? You knew this whole time? Greg shakes his head. I found out after you confronted Sarah. I did some digging, put the pieces together. I was going to tell you, but I needed proof. Sarah came to me, told me everything. She's been trying to reach you, to explain. I look at Sarah, her face a mask of guilt and pain. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew better than anyone. And she let this happen. She let a stranger destroy our life. Get out, I say, my voice cold and hard. Both of you. I don't want to see either of you again. Ben, please, Sarah pleads, standing up. I was wrong, I know I was. But I never meant to hurt you. I still love you. Love? I spit the word like it's poison. You don't know the meaning of the word. If you did, none of this would have happened. You let a stranger come between us, and now you expect me to just forgive you? No. It's too late for that. I turn and walk out of the restaurant, leaving them behind. The night air is cool, but I feel like I'm burning from the inside out. I walk to my car, my hands shaking as I fumble with the keys. As I get in, my phone buzzes. A message from Sophie, "Hey, Dad. I'm coming home this weekend. Can we talk?" I throw the phone onto the passenger seat, staring out the windshield. I don't know what I'm going to tell her. I don't know how to explain the mess our lives have become. But I know one thing, I can't stay here. I can't be near Sarah, near the memories of what we once had. I start the car and drive, the city lights blurring as I speed down the highway. I don't know where I'm going, but anywhere is better than here. My mind is a whirlwind of thoughts, of anger and betrayal. The woman I loved, the life we built together, all of it shattered because of a man named David. Because of a betrayal so deep it cuts to the bone. I drive until the sun rises, until the city is far behind me, and the road stretches out before me like a promise of escape. I know that I'll never be able to forget what happened, never be able to go back to the way things were. But as I watch the sun come up over the horizon, I make a vow to myself. I'll start over. I'll rebuild my life, piece by piece. And I'll do it alone. Without Sarah. Without the lies and betrayal. Without the pain that has defined me for too long. I'll find a way to move on, even if it takes me the rest of my life. I'll find a way to live again, to be free of the past. And I'll do it with the same determination that got me through everything else. Because I'm done being a victim. I'm done being used. And I'm done letting other people control my life. As I drive into the new day, I feel a strange sense of relief. It's over. The lies, the deceit, the pain, it's all behind me now. And for the first time in weeks, I take a deep breath, letting the cool morning air fill my lungs. I don't know what the future holds, but I know one thing for sure, I'm going to face it head on, and I'm not looking back.